All right, Colton, thank you very much for submitting first. Not always the easiest thing to do, of course, so I appreciate that. All right, let's go and take a look. I've got your file up right here, and I see this is a two-page file. I also see if I hover down in the PDF lower left-hand corner, I can see this file is set up at 1.42 by 1.83 inches. Now, if we jump over to the course assignment page, we can see that the file is required to be set up at 15 by 20 inches with 1-inch gutters between the four designs, which are 5 by 5 squares. Now, I've created a video to show you how to set that file up. So if you jump over to the course announcements, if you scroll way to the bottom, you'll see this video right here, how to set up the file for assignment 3. Definitely want to look at that. Okay, we got to get the first thing we do is got to get that file set up correctly. Now, while we're in this announcements area, I'd like to just really implore you to take a look at all of these videos. I mean, there's a lot of material in this announcement, and it should take you a while to go through it all. But I can promise you, you'll have a really thorough understanding of grid when you're done with this announcement. So please go in there and take a look. Now, next thing I noticed in the piece is that your composition, the type just writes right on the page margin. And that's uncomfortable. That's really uncomfortable. We usually want to set up a margin to give a little bit of padding between the page edge and where the typography starts. Basically, what you want to do is you want to set up a margin, an interior margin, and then set your grid to that margin. This is what it'll look like. It'll look like this. Okay, so you can see here's a 4 by 4 grid, and I'm not saying to use a 4 by 4 grid. I'm just saying that this is an example. There's a 4 by 4 grid here. And you can see that each of the squares within the margin of the grid is equal. Okay, so you definitely want to set. And the way you do that is just go to InDesign. I'm in InDesign right now, and you can just come over here to where it says Layout. And this is all covered in the video, by the way, in the announcements. This video right here. How to design using a grid. At any rate, so once you get in there, if you come to Layout, Create Guides, right here, you click that Margins, Fit Guides to Margins. Okay, and that's how you establish your grid guides to your margins and not your page. Right now, to be completely honest with you, I'm not seeing much use of grid here at all. So you definitely want to show a solid grid and adhere to that grid for your final composition. All right, first one looks pretty good. Now, the first design is no contrast in size or weight, just a hierarchy based on grouping. We don't have any hierarchy at all in here, so you want to make some groups here in order to create. Now, one possibility is to just use that as a headline, just reduce the space between the rest of these and increase the space between the headline and the rest of them. Okay. Then in the second, you're required to add one new size and one new weight. I see a new size here, but I don't see a new weight. I think a good way to add a new weight would be to bold the subhead right there. Okay, then in the third design, multiple contrasts in weight and scale, and you've got that here. But again, there's very little alignment. One thing I'm not seeing at all in your design work is alignment. Just things are not aligning. You've got this is center aligned, this is left aligned, this is center aligned. These are both pushed to the right, so these are right aligned but center aligned here. Okay. Then this is centered here. This is, I'm not real sure what this is. And this is all centered here. Then this is no alignment. And then you've got this right aligned and this center aligned. You don't want to keep mixing up different alignments here. You want to try to adhere to a set of specific alignment. I'm really going to be adamant about students to try to stay away from center alignment at all costs. Center alignment is really, really boring, and most designers will agree. Center alignment doesn't activate the negative space associated with the typography. And for a much more engaging look, center alignment is really super safe. I mean, I don't center align. I haven't center aligned in 25 years, except for things like wedding invitations. So think about that and watch your alignment. Okay, where were we? We're on third design, multiple contrast and weight and scale, right? And you have that, so that's good. But we want to work alignment, get that margin in there, and adhere to the grid. And then in the fourth, you want multiple contrast and weight and scale, and then a cropped image of your car bleeding on these two bases. That's fantastic. But I'd like to see multiple. We want multiple hierarchy set up. Okay, so you definitely want to work that out, all right? those are my recommendations. Don't forget, in page 101 in the textbook are some amazing examples of how to set this assignment up. So be sure to take a look at that. At this point, if you have any questions at all, please let me know. I'd be glad to make any necessary clarifications. All right, Colton, thank you very much.